Yo, what's up, CV survivors? So I played Resident Evil 2, and I realized something about the cutscenes. And the cutscenes were able to vividly paint the story of Raccoon City to the point where you could really understand the incident that happened in Raccoon City. And the cutscenes were really able to get you emotionally invested into the game. They told the story good, and they were able to really show you how the event impacted all the characters in the game. So right off the bat, let's talk about these cutscenes. So when you first play this game as Leon, you're going to the gas station to get some gas, then you want to head to work so you can clock in. When you play as Claire, you pull up to the gas station so you can get some gas, so you can go to the city, find your brother, and dip. With both characters, you investigate the gas station, and you find out that there's zombies inside of it, so their daily events just got cancelled because their day is about to go downhill. There's a cutscene in the intro of the game that I really like because it allows two characters to build a relationship, see their motives for being in Raccoon City, and introduces them to the dangers in Raccoon City. So let's take a look at it.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. Hopefully they'll have some answers at the police station.
Wait, you're a cop?
Yeah, Leon Kennedy. And you are?
Claire Redfield.
Live around here?
No. I'm looking for my brother. He's a cop too.
Well, it's a good thing we found each other. I don't know what to expect anymore. Looks like we're walking from here.
More like running.
Yeah, good call. There, get out. Get out now!
We can see how the intro of the game and the first few cutscenes shows the severity of the situation that they're in. Throughout all the craziness that Leon and Claire have been in, things only continue to get crazier when we're introduced into the tyrant, Mr. X. What's one thing I could say about Mr. X is that he definitely hit one of the meanest vice grips I ever seen. He pruned that guy's face like a grape. Following that cutscene, did you guys see the way Ada shrugged Leon's arm off of her? That shit was funny. The cutscene I found to be interesting in this game is when Ada first saves Leon. This cutscene shows you the type of relationship those two would develop. As Ada saves Leon, and as the game continues to progress, you will see that Leon saves Ada and vice versa. And you can kind of see that Ada talks to Leon in a very authoritative way.
Get off of me!
Hey,
Who is that?
stay sharp. Lower it. FBI.
Sorry. Thank you. For your help.
Surprised you made it this far.
FBI, huh? What's going on here?
Sorry, that information's classified.
Where are you going?
Do yourself a favor. Stop asking questions and get the hell out of here.
I don't know what it is, but those two seem to always be saving each other, and Leon seems to always be in trouble in the parking garage.
This is getting old. Saving your ass, that's twice.
I didn't realize you were keeping score.
Look, this isn't a game.
You're gonna kill me.
Nothing dies down here.
And I got a comment on Ada's jacket. She pulled up with that H&M jacket and that beige trench coat. You know, when someone has the beige trench coat, they're up to something. It might not necessarily be bad, but they up to something if somebody wears a beige trench coat. One of the first cutscenes that comes off as emotionally compelling is when you're walking with Ada, and then you go to the gun shop and you run into Kendall.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
I said don't move.
I'm just passing through. I'm gonna ask you to lower that weapon.
I tell you what, you're gonna turn around and go right back out the way you came in.
I think your daughter needs help, sir.
Don't tell me how to deal with my daughter.
Drop it.
No! Wait!
Step aside. We need to terminate her before she turns.
Terminate. It's my fucking daughter.
Ada. Just let them be.
Emma? Sweetheart, I told you to stay put.
Daddy?
Daddy's here. Okay? Those fucking things outside. What they did to us. You're a cop. You're supposed to know something. How did this happen? Huh? She was our sweet little angel.
Mommy?
I was sleeping, honey. Okay? And I'm gonna put you to bed too, okay? Emma. Just go. Just give us some privacy.
That's one of the first scenes that gets to you emotionally. From the cutscene, we're able to see how what Umbrella did affected the people, and now you have to watch a father put down his affected daughter, and that scene has a lot of emotional appeal. One thing I noticed in this game is when you're in that segment when you're walking and talking with Ada, it seems like she tries to villainize Annette Birkin, and I kind of disagree with Annette being the villain, but we'll talk about that later. Now we gotta talk about the beef under the streets and the sewers, and that is between Annette Birkin and Ada Wong. You can already tell that neither of those two want the other person's goals to be fulfilled. Annette doesn't want Ada to get her hands on the G-Virus sample, and Ada does not want Annette to remain holding on to the sample, and she probably needs it to make the cure. The way those two interact makes it seem like they knew each other previously. Annette was actually willing to pull out that thing and bust it on her, and she actually had Ada froze. She had her own stiff mode. You can even tell that when Annette finally gets Ada to go into the furnace, you can just tell by the look on her eyes she was ready to burn her alive. She had disgust for her. I really like the dynamic between Ada and Annette. It shows more micro problems in this already big dilemma of Raccoon City. The actions of those two characters determines the future. Another cutscene that caught my eye is when you're playing as Claire and you first meet Sherry, and then you see stage 1 infected William Birkin and she calls him Dad, and you have the exact same response as Claire does. As you play the game, you're introduced to the Cricket Police Chief, Brian Irons, who looks like Chef Boyardee, and I have to say, man, is this guy power tripping.
I've been looking everywhere for you, Sherry. Brave little girl to leave your house in the middle of this mess. On the ground, hands behind your head.
You can't be serious.
On the ground, now. Sherry, tie her hands.
Why are you doing
Shut up. Tie her. Okay then. You tie her up now, or she dies.
What's this all about?
Child endangerment, for starters. Sherry, come here.
What are you gonna do to her?
None of your fucking business.
If you hurt her, I swear to God, my brother is stars and I will
Sherry, get over here. What's your name? What's your fucking name?
Claire!
Sherry, you come with me now, or say goodbye to Claire.
Okay, I'll go.
So he comes off, and you can already see that he's using his position for leverage to get what he wants. When you're introduced to this character, you can see that he really comes off as really dislikeful, but he does open a plot to other problems other than the T-virus going around. As you play through the game, you learn that the police chief kills people and uses their bodies for taxidermy, which is exactly why he has all those animal preservatives in his office. A cutscene that does a really good job at highlighting the severity of the raccoon situation is when you're playing as Claire and you arrive in the orphanage just to find out that the police chief has just been infected by Dr. Birkin.
Your fault.
What?
Took too long.
What happened? Oh God! Get off me! Oh my God!
One, let's talk about all the troubles we had to go through to even get to the orphanage. We had to run away from Mr. X. We had to run from zombies and T-virus infected dogs to get there. Wild. Then the cutscene does a good job at transitioning into something more urgent as Mr. X just busts through out of nowhere and you gotta run from him.
Go, go, go!
I think these cutscenes really show you how wild that day in Raccoon City actually was. One, you figure out that there's a virus infection going around and they're pretty much making zombies. Then you figure out you have to meet the demands of a tyrannical police chief in a hostage situation. That's a wild day. Who else peeped all the times that Dr. Birkin saved Sherry from all the dangers even when he was infected? He saved Sherry from Mr. X and he saved Sherry from Police Chief Brian's. One of my favorite cutscenes is when you finally meet Annette Birkin and it really creates this sense of urgency. That scene does a good job at creating a sense of urgency because she immediately comes out and she seems very frantic. And you just see her making all these observations. Man, you see her in the lab coat. Man, she's in her workflow. She probably has a lot of things on her mind. She's probably trying to figure out how to stop Ada from getting the G-virus samples. She's probably stressing out over Sherry. And she's probably really stressed out over William. Then on top of everything, she has to develop a cure. And honestly, there's a point where Ada is talking to Leon during a walk and talk session, and she tries to villainize Annette. But in my eyes, I honestly view Annette as a hero because she really even stopped caring about her own daughter just to make sure she's able to produce that cure. There's a point where you're playing as Claire and you're doing a walk and talk session with Sherry, and then they're talking and they're relating, and she says her mom works all day down here in the lab, as well as her dad. And Claire tells Sherry that her parents are going, so that scene allows both characters to sympathize and connect with one another. Another cutscene I really found to be emotionally compelling is when you finally arrive to where Sherry's at and you see her and she's passed out and you pick her up and you realize that she's infected. You pick her up and then Annette tells you to bring her to the lab, and then you bring her to the cable cart to the lab and the scene commences.
Hey. Are you okay?
Your jacket's so warm.
My brother gave it to me. You know it's supposed to be lucky?
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Are you kidding me? You were doing just fine without me, until I came along and got you all sorts of trouble. I have something of yours.
I don't want it.
Really? Why not? It's so pretty.
found my mom for my birthday last year. All I really wanted was for her to be home more.
I know it seems like your mom doesn't care, but... Hey, Sherry, come here. Hey, hang in there, okay?
Now, arriving at Nest.
It's okay. I've got you. Come on.
This cutscene is probably the best cutscene in the game, and it does a good job at being emotionally compelling because we get to see a character we spent a lot of time getting emotionally invested into suffer from the early stages of an infection, and then you get to see Claire try to really take care of her and rise to be a hero as she tries to get her cured in the lab. These cutscenes are well placed too because those two characters have just spent time bonding and relating. You can see that Claire really wants to see Sherry get better. Another reason these cutscenes work so well is you just played as Sherry and then you tried to escape the orphanage. We ran away from Chef Boyardee. He threw a whole axe at the door trying to get to us, and then next thing you know, she gets infected. It's like, after everything we went through, it's like, I can't see Sherry like that. It's like, we gotta get the kid good. So after seeing those emotionally compelling scenes, we gotta save Sherry. And the crazy thing is, I don't even know if we can save ourselves. These rooms are dark, zombies are everywhere, Anja put 2 liquors in this room. But all jokes aside, another cutscene that I think does a really good job at actually explaining the story overall in the big picture is when you watch those mercenaries try to retrieve the G sample, but they end up shooting William Birkin in the process.
Got eyes on the G virus.
Going in.
Dr. Birkin, you'll come along with us quietly.
You think I didn't know you were coming? This is my life's work. I'm not handing over anything.
We have our orders, Dr. Birkin. I'll ask you one more time. Hold your fire!
It was actually really sad to see, and you learned that he spent his whole life making that virus, and it just makes sense for him to inject himself with the virus so they can't retrieve the sample. Anyways, there was a cutscene where Annette is talking to Claire, and she says her and William were more married to their work rather than each other. So it just shows you that they used to work in a lab, and they used to grind the lab their whole life, and that just really sucks because nobody wants to be in a lab all day. If you work in a lab, you know what I'm talking about. So you can really see how these cutscenes vividly tell the story of Raccoon City. We're able to see how Leon was affected from being a rookie cop on your first day of work to walking into a zombie-infected city. For Claire, we were able to see how she wanted just to go into the city to find her brother, but instead she walked into the whole wild situation and ran into a younger survivor, and to guarantee her survival, she had to become a heroine. Sherry could have been a victim of a tyrannical police chief, and how she lost her parents during the events of Raccoon City. And we were able to see how the 2 lives of scientists will be affected from creating a virus, will ultimately lead to their deaths, and a whole city having to get nuked because a virus got into the water supply. And underneath everything, there was a malicious group that wanted to secure the virus for their own wealth. So the Raccoon City incident was a pretty bad tragedy, and I think the game really had good cutscenes. I think the voice actors did a really good job, especially compared to the original's counterpart.
Hello? Look, I'm sorry I bothered you, okay? Just don't come any closer.
What the hell is this thing?
But I will eventually play the original Resident Evils, not just the remakes. So comment, what did you like about this game? Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite cutscene? Your favorite aspect of the game? And for the next Resident Evil video on my channel, we will be critiquing and analyzing Nemesis and Resident Evil 3 Remake. if you like these cutscene analysis, go on my channel and go look up the Tomb Raider cutscene analysis. That's another video you'll probably enjoy. And for all my Tomb Raider subscribers, Lara Croft is not going anywhere. And it's the end of the video, so you guys know to vibe out.